Good evening, my little spam fritters. Today I have, by popular request, a civvi. In the last video I showed this. One of my subscribers asked if I would do the review on it. So I've had this for a while, I've carried it for a while, I know what it's like to live with, and overall I think, you could say it's a very good knife, it's a very pretty knife. That's it, video over. But I'll give you a little bit more information. So the handle on this particular version is carbon fibre. The blade is Damascus. It is, as far as I'm aware, the 14C28N version of Damascus. They do this in another version which is plain black G10, and I think it's an acid washed, but it's a plain blade. It's very nicely made. Overall, the bolsters, which appear to be steel, and the back spring are all stone washed. Really nice. The carbon fibre has been nicely chamfered all the way around. I'm not usually a huge carbon fibre fan, doesn't really do it for me, but this seems to be nicely finished, and that combined with the Damascus blade, it does make it look that little bit more special than the plain version, in my opinion. You've got the civvi logo on the bolster, nicely done. That Damascus blade itself, gorgeous. And you look at that blade shape. I'm not quite sure who the designer was in this particular model, but that is a lovely drop point, I would say, blade. It is not a one-hand opener, although you have the hole there. The back spring, I would say, is a good 8, and there isn't enough there to get you, even with my big old paws, there's not enough to get your thumb in to open it. So this is a two-handed opener knife, which I know puts a lot of people off, which is how I ended up with this in the first place. However, a lot of the higher end UK legal slip joints are two-hand opener, and they tend not to have clips, so I'm kind of getting used to it. The handle itself is, knocked Deadpool off. The handle itself is a good 4-finger for me. I know I've said it before, and everybody seems to say it these days. I have larger than average hands, big old hands, which seems to be something that every male knife reviewer says. DCA in America now has a drinking game for every time he says larger than average, and I've seen it over and over in videos. For some reason, all of us knife reviewers tend to think we have big hands, but I have extra large glove size. My index finger is Z+3, so it gives you an idea. It is a 4-finger knife for me. If I hold it behind the bolster, you can choke up on it. There's a small choil there, but a bit like the CRKT Pilar, it's quite sharp at the edge of that choil. So if you have fat fingers like me, you don't want to put your whole finger up there. Perhaps I would just hold on to it with the dip. The blade itself, under 3 inches. As I say, it is 14C28N, which is a great steel for the money. It's a Sandvik steel. And I, in my own mind, put it in a similar kind of category to the VG10. It is perhaps not quite the same edge retention as you would find in D2, which you'd get for cheaper. However, it's much more stain resistant, corrosion resistant, and much easier to sharpen when it comes time to do that, when it blunts. I've got a lot of D2 knives. It's great edge retention for the money, but they can be a bit of a pain when it comes to sharpening because it just takes so much longer. 14C28, it's a very fine grain Sandvik steel, takes a wicked edge, a razor edge, and it's not too difficult to sharpen. So it's a good option for the kind of price. The only thing I would say about this knife over in this country is it's quite expensive for having that 14C28. The plain version with the G10 and the 14C28N blade without the Damascus is £100 over here, and this one, the carbon fibre and Damascus, is £125 on Heine Haynes. Now that to me seems a bit steep for the materials. I would say this knife, as nice as it is, and it feels like a quality knife, it reminds me most, out of all the knives that I have in my collection, of the Kaiser Zip Slip. It's a similar kind of weight, similar kind of quality, I feel, to the Civvi. They both feel like they should be in the same kind of price range. However, this is £70 over here on Heine Haynes. This is 125, and I just don't really see the justification for that. I think maybe the plain one should be around 70, and this special carbon fibre and Damascus one maybe as high as 90 if you want to pay the extra, but you're not getting any more performance, it's purely looks. And the issue there is once you go up to the kind of £130 mark, that's what the Lion Steel Best Bang costs, and for that you're getting M390 for the blade steel, titanium bolsters, micarta, just generally the next level up in materials. But these two are about the same price on Heine Haynes anyway, 125, 130. I do think this is overpriced on there. I think it should be closer to the price of the Zip Slip, which is a great knife. Not knocking the Zip Slip, it's one of my favourites, UK legals, and this is fantastic also, but I think it's just it's a little bit too overpriced. Let's move Deadpool on his elephant away. Focus camera. Because an alternative size comparison, Real Steel Luna in G10, you can see it's a similar kind of blade length, slightly more on the Civvi. It's not the same quality, and you've just got a basic G10. It's a D2 steel, good edge retention, but it feels a bit hollow, bit scratchy. You know, it's the base model of the Luna. It's not the same quality as this. However, you can see, you know, if you are on a budget, £35 is going to get you roughly something the same size, and actually probably the D2 has actually got better edge retention. It would just be harder to sharpen. Overall, with this, I do think it's a very classy looking knife with that carbon fibre and the Damascus, and that blade shape in particular. It's lovely. I really like the hollow grind. It's very thin behind the edge, very slicey blade. It's just the price that sticks in my throat a bit. This particular example, I'm a member of a Facebook group where a few of these were bought as group knives. That's the group logo, and then they were sold to members. So I got this cheaper. It was bought as new in the box, and I paid £80 for it instead of the £125 that Heine are asking. And I think that's probably a fairer price. I may have paid another £10 or more, well, another £10 maximum. I wouldn't have paid the 125 for it, because I just think you can make a jump up in blade steel, you can make a jump up in materials once you start getting up into the £130 range. That's probably stupid. I mean, 14C28 is going to do more than most people need it to. Let's face it, the people who are collecting knives, people who are watching this video right now probably have lots of knives to choose from, and 14C28 is probably going to be all they ever need. But, you know, it's a buyer's market. If you're going to put your product in at that kind of price, then it has to be compared against things like the Line Still Best Man with the M390, and 14C28 is not going to perform as well as M390 for what it's worth. But overall, it's a lovely, lovely, classy gentleman's carry. I really like what Civvi are doing. Although it's the kind of more budget end of WE knives, they certainly don't feel budget. They're always bringing new things out. They're really well executed, really nicely made. They feel like a quality product. I think there's a flipper detent version of this. Is it the Appalachian Drifter? I'd like to get my hands on. And I know there's a new one coming out that's another flipper double detent that I will certainly want to get. I really like this being a part of my collection. I like carrying this quite often. It is a lovely knife. So to my subscriber that requested the review, I hope that's of some use. If there's anything that I've missed out or anything else that you want to know, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer any questions as quick. Obviously, if you like this video and you're not already subscribed, please like and subscribe so I know to carry on making more videos, and I will see you next time.